Hey everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome to a new series that I'm doing, a collaboration with a former League of Legends player and YouTuber, Drift King. Well, I don't know, I'm sure he still plays the game and we'll be doing videos on that, I don't know. But anyway, he's come to Heroes of the Storm now, moved MOBA a little bit at least, and yeah, jumped kind of straight into ranked play, and he is working his way up the ranks, and yeah, I'm going to be coaching him through that, and seeing how it goes. So obviously, as a player experienced in MOBAs, one of the things you're going to see in this video in particular, this coaching video, is that he has the good mechanical skills, but then would not have a ton of game knowledge really about Heroes of the Storm quite yet, how things work, how heroes work, their talents, the map strategies, all that sort of stuff. So that was a little bit of a focus. And yeah, I would say for me personally, I was somewhat happy with this video. I feel like I could definitely improve. It was the first time I ever did coaching. And then also there was technical stuff happening, and you'll see that coming through of like working out exactly how best to do it. And then we ended up using Skype and screen share and messing with the replay client and all that sort of stuff. Definitely there was some technical stuff holding it back. But yeah, it will be a learning process and a growing process for me, definitely as a coach, which hopefully you guys can follow along with as well. And it's also should give you something of an insight too into the option of doing coaching with me, which I have set up. You can, through donations, you can find information over on the Twitch page. But basically that would look something like this. What I will say going into this is that it's a pretty good game. You know, like I said, he's a MOBA player already. He's got a lot of really good skills built up already. And this game, you know, was one of his best games, I think, it'd be fair to say. So that, for me, as a coach, ideally wouldn't be what you're looking for. You want to have a more balanced game where you make like some mistakes as well, so you can really get into the nitty and gritty of it. But it should still give you a pretty good insight. I hope you do enjoy. And yeah, I mean, even though it was the first one, you know, sound levels and stuff might be a bit off as well, and that will all improve as we go. I thought, yeah, hey, here's the first one. We're going to be doing the second one in the next couple of days. And then, yeah, we can just see the progress, how it goes from game to game, from week to week. What does it look like from week 1 as opposed to like week 4 or something like that? How does a month of kind of trying to get coaching and really, really working hard to improve, how does that look like? How do your needs in terms of the information you need to receive to improve, how do they change? I think they're kind of interesting questions. I hope you enjoy. Anyway, I do tend to ramble in the intro and probably just in general, so without any further ado, here is the coaching, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, cool. So I've set it to your vision. You can see all of your abilities down here in the bottom left. This is like your healing fountain, your quests as well.
So I've been running the W build on her.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like, I feel like that's the most how do you say, like it's probably best in the most situations, and then it's like also probably not the best in some situations, but I feel like it's the most average one that you can go. So that's just, well, I've been running like the same thing every game basically.
I love to see, by the way, at the start you did not participate at all in like the
Hey, I already finished mine. I don't need it.
It's good team play. Good team play. I mean, yeah. So yeah, like for Chromie, the W build, it's really okay. I think at the moment the one that gives you vision is better at higher levels of play. But then again, like I don't know how well the utility of having more vision actually translates into lower leagues. Like, will people actually be able to use that information in a useful way?
Probably not.
Probably not. So yeah, like something that just gives you more damage is probably a little bit better. So I think like, yeah, both the quests that give damage are pretty good. I lean towards the Q one a little bit more myself, but it doesn't matter too much. We're gonna be a little bit clunky in terms of our movements around here. I need to use my keypad because the screen share is fucking it up a little bit. So if I just put my mouse here, let me go over here. It's a little bit slow out the gates. Could be with the team here already, which would be nice.
I think I was like eating chips or something.
Yeah, okay. So that would be fairly important. There's often a fight here at level 1, so you could have been there sooner and then reacted a bit sooner. Got a nice kill there on him, so the aim with the skill shots is pretty good. That one didn't quite land, but it's not the end of the world. That one's very good. So yeah, the skill shot aim is really good. Great. Oh, look at this, the BM sleeping. I love it.
I think I flame like super hard, so you should probably turn off the chat. I don't know if you can do
Oh, I don't know if I can do that at all. Well, that's important. We'll see how your flaming is and what we
I'm
can
like
improve on.
not a great person sometimes.
Okay,
But
I can be the same.
it can get pretty bad at times. I've been trying to stop though.
All right, well, I can let you know if you're actually right in your flaming or if you're just being a jerk
Hopefully,
who's wrong about everything.
sometimes I'm
Which
just
happens.
just a dick for no reason, just 'cause I'm in a bad mood. Hopefully, this game isn't one of them. I didn't really check beforehand, but yeah.
Okay, well, this should be fun. I'd say like so far though into the game, it's like the skill shots are really good. I'd say like slow out of the gates, which actually is quite important to be there on time.
Yeah, it is.
And then like when you came into the lane, like you're kind of in range to fire off some skill shots at some heroes that were kind of locked down. So you could have maybe started off sooner. You kind of ran forwards to set down the time trap. I think probably would have let off the skill shots, but it doesn't matter overly much. But definitely you could be a little bit quicker out of the gate. So we'll see.
But now I'm hella nervous because it's showing the chat.
You see, now you don't have to worry about your gameplay. You just have to worry about your
Yeah, we can hide
your
the chat
manners
in the video. It's okay.
God, people are discussing so much. Like this Rhaegar is writing an essay here.
Yeah, really.
Look at all this. Noted. Just teamwork. Alright, so you're going a bit too far down the lane, I would say. And then got jumped on by their Tannis. Which is kind of wasting some of the mana for the Rhaegar. Got a healing fountain. Ideally, you wouldn't have to use the healing fountain so early.
Okay, yeah.
But
I think I mostly used it for mana there.
yeah. Like that's definitely, it can often be worth doing. So nice skill shots. Look, this Lunara isn't really punishing you. She could punish you so much harder if she was actually good. So that's something you'll find as Chromie when you go up higher levels. Because you have, all of your skills are these slow skill shots. Heroes will literally just juke around them and keep hitting you. And this is pretty good so far. Ooh, almost gonna get a kill. Let's see what,
Yeah, I think
At this stage, yeah.
definitely overextended a bit there.
Definitely a little bit. Your teammates also didn't follow you in, which is a little bit of a problem.
That's part of like me not really knowing a whole lot about the champions and stuff or the heroes. So I'm pretty sure that at the time I was thinking like we were gonna like go on them instead of like continuing to do the camp. But
yeah. I'd say definitely on Chromie especially, you're gonna want to be fairly cautious and be staying back. You gain very little from. In fact, you don't gain anything at all from leading the charge as Chromie, so your teammates are doing this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
This is pretty good for you to like scout out and to clear the mid lane and soak that a little bit. This is fairly risky to go in there, but it's not too bad. I'd say, in fact, if I throw in a pause real quick as well, I'd say at level, we'll actually let it go for another second longer and see what talents you get here, level 7. We could talk about the talents. This comes up. So positioning is fairly good. And again, good aim on the skill shots. Okay, we got the talents coming in. I'd say at level 4, I really do recommend on Chromie you pick up something called Bronze Talons. Which every time you use your Q...
Yeah. I was playing around with that one also.
Yeah, it's really
sometimes I do that and sometimes I use this one. I'm not sure exactly why I went a different one. Maybe I was just trying it out, but
yeah. There's no harm in trying stuff out at the start, but Bronze Talons can be really nice and opens up more blow-up potential. Whereas this is, you can kind of get away without using this one, especially with Temporal Loop at level 8 if you're going to take that. And I do like Mobius Loop a lot. It makes Chromie's wave clear much better, which is actually pretty important on this map.
Yeah, I was thinking that, I'm thinking back on this game and I think I was going for more wave clear because like the bigger AoE for wave clear and team fights is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that makes sense. So far you guys have been doing pretty well. See up here, I'm getting again a bit of lags, the screen sharing thing which is going on. See, one thing you can do as well is like lead off with the W and the Q, which will work a little bit better because the W doesn't have as much of a wind-up animation. So using the two together, you can like, for example, against the Thrall there, you could probably have hit him with the W and the Q like at the same time instead of hitting the Q and then the W afterwards. Might have worked out a little bit better. So your Tracer missed or their Tracer missed.
I think the way I do it most of the time is I'm just like throwing out spells individually, and then if I know that I'm gonna hit someone with both of them, I'll throw them both out at the same time.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, definitely Chromie is a hero that you'll find behaves much differently at like higher levels of play. because
Yeah.
players will actually dodge. Now that you went way too far forwards there, you're probably going to die.
No, I noticed that.
Okay, you managed to tap your well and might live.
Completely calculated.
Completely calculated. All right, yeah, but you definitely don't want to be walking into range of Lunara. And generally on Chromie in particular, you're not going to want to walk into range of pretty much anyone. You want to be as far back as possible.
Yeah.
But other heroes can do that, but yeah, especially as you get like up into higher levels, it's like that Lunara will be like, all right, grand, and you're winding up a skill shot. Okay, gonna step to the side and just keep attacking you, and she's gonna bully the crap out of you. So that's something to watch out for. But again, it's not something that you'll particularly learn in these levels of games because you won't get actually targeted or punished for it. So that's just something that does come with experience. It's worth noting. But
yeah, that's also something that I wanted to get into the whole coaching thing before I played too much because I don't want to get into any bad habits that'll carry over.
I'd say at this stage as well, it's probably a good idea to actually complete the Hearthstone and go back. I also just got a new follower detected soundbite coming in because I'm using my streaming software to record this. But yeah, like at this stage again, like you're fairly low on life. Your support is like all the way down here. So it has been a while since there's actually a seed phase, the night phase. So it could be quite nice to actually go and then come back and just have that life ready to go. So it would be a pretty good opportunity to Hearthstone. You also have Li Ming here. So she's soaking all the XP. So you're not actually going to lose out on any of your team's XP by you actually not being here in this mid lane. Mm-hmm. So you're quite free to roam out and do other things or look for gank opportunities as well.
Yeah.
Like you're not overly committed to staying and focusing. Now you've been doing pretty well and the Lunara's getting hit by quite a bit of stuff. So it's not terrible to stay here. But
I'm super nervous that I flame my team this game. I'm not sure if I did or not. If only we could turn off the chat.
Alright, so I completely missed that skill shot, but you know, that's just again something that comes with some practice and knowing the duration of like the stuns from Varian and stuff like that. Predicting where they're gonna go. I think actually taking
something I noticed I have no idea about is how long the CCs last and stuff. I have to use
Yeah. So at this stage, actually, the way the team is split is relatively good. I say the big problem right now that is nothing to do with you in particular, because again, as Chromie, you're not particularly focused on going to be a solo lane or anything like that. But having one person down the bottom would be a pretty big deal for your team to soak that XP and get that XP. You know, you got Rhaegar and you guys are near mid lane. You're also near top to cover that, but one person should ideally be going down to the bottom to have that covered too. But it's really good to see taking the Merc Cam. And this is actually a pretty good time to take the Bruiser Cam. And we'll see what your team's going to do. Actually, at this stage, you guys are just screwed because your teammates didn't come with you. So, yeah, this became really bad because Diablo decided to go up there instead of actually coming and tanking the Bruiser Cam.
Yeah, I don't think I wanted to stay there and do the camp. I was like, this Li Ming's going to die if I don't help her, though.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, you're all right there. You got a bunch of heroes. It's really quick to take it, so you should just take it. And there's a objective coming up soon, so it would be a pretty good idea. Again here, as Chromie, you're probably pretty good rotating with your team and trying to get ganks off and such. I mean, like if you just throw in a quick pause and actually check the Varian talents, because this is something to note. So yeah, he's got Warbringer. So this is something you'd be looking for, is that Varian, whenever he charges on someone, he stuns them for a second.
Okay.
Now, it will depend.
I don't know. I definitely have no idea about.
Yeah, well, definitely as a hero like Chromie, who does have pretty difficult skill shots, you're gonna want to know the allies on your team that are going to set up the easy skill shots for you, and then as well at the same time, like heroes that are going to be able to easily dodge them. So, for example, a good Tracer, she can like blink all the time, so she's going to be really hard to hit. She actually counters you quite well if she's played well. But yeah, you're going to want to know like which heroes are going to do the stuns that you can follow up on and then kind of preemptively follow up on them. Now, obviously, at lower leagues, it's going to be more difficult because you might be like, oh, well, this is the perfect opportunity to, for example, like jump on this Malfurion right here, we can kill him, and then like your Varian just goes, hey, you're derp, and runs the other way. So that might be a problem, but something to note anyway. As well, like once you hit level 8 on Chromie, you pretty much want to be looking for a kill straight away, like with Temporal Loop. So you want to be looking for a gank. And even ping that you have the Heroic, and be looking for that. So here, for example, like you could Temporal Loop maybe the Tracer. Okay, you've actually done it. That's really good. And there we go. Got ourselves a kill. Nice.
Hey.
All right, I like it. But yeah, that's one of like Chromie's big strengths is that you have your heroic at level 8. And no one else has a heroic.
Yeah.
So
2
it's
levels
like,
early.
yeah,
OP.
it's like, let's go get a kill. Pretty awesome. Again here, like, yeah, this is fine. We have the night phase, and there's to be a timer down here for this one. And there usually is a timer, so generally, again, with Chromie, you're going to look to be going with your team. And on this map in particular, you're going to look to be, hopefully, especially right now, they've got 2 enemy heroes dead, which means that these small sea camps, which are on the enemy side of the map, are actually like your prime targets. You want to steal those away, then take your small sea camps more safely, and then transition into one of the big ones. That's just specifically for this map. We certainly want to be relatively careful here. Malfurion has Cleanse, which can remove your heroic completely. Stops it from working. But again, I suppose the question will be as to whether he'll actually manage to do it or not. Which is something worth considering. Yeah, I feel the positioning with the Chromie is extremely aggressive. And that's something that's not going to work as you get to higher levels. But it works right now.
I assume so.
Yeah. But I mean, like, again, like, it's good play to be that aggressive at this level because it's working really well. So that's always one of the difficult things with coaching is like, okay, sometimes like it's just different metas at different sort of skill levels, which is funny.
Like I'm okay with like climbing slower by doing the right thing rather than just abusing something that'll shit on lower tier players. You know.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. All right, this is pretty nice.
It'll help me in the long run.
Yeah. Alright, so the Tracer recalled out. Worth noting, like, Tracer, again, like, this is something you probably wouldn't know, but, like, she has the recall ability. In fact, if we flop over, it's a 26-second cooldown, which just, that can let her, like, dodge out of your heroic, but whenever that's on cooldown, that's, like, this 26-second window after she uses it, where she actually becomes a pretty good kill target for your heroic, so that's something that you could work on, but again, that comes down to the hero knowledge and stuff like that. So this is pretty decent. Again, at this stage, you're just looking to work down this terror and just do as much damage to it as you can. And overall, I think like the movements have been pretty good from you. Like just in terms of going around the map, sticking with your team. It's one of the things about
I'm just doing what I think is best. I really don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Chromie is you're fairly like team dependent, and you're gonna be just following up on them a lot. I'd say tapping the well there was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was an accident or not, to be honest.
It could have been, yeah, it could have been.
I might have just been doing it for mana, so...
Yeah, so you kind of had enough mana that didn't really need to bother.
Yeah.
But oh well, this Li Ming has gone super deep and it's gonna... Oh my god, she barely escaped. That was quite lucky. Okay, so there you go, like right there. That comes down to like kind of lack of game knowledge, but you used your heroic on the Tracer. She had recall available and she just recalled straight out of it.
I didn't know that she could recall out of it. I didn't know that.
That's so I mean like that's just something that you come to know, like heroes that can negate it. And then there's going to be some talents and stuff that negate it as well. So for example,
I'm starting to learn those things.
I knocked over my microphone. I've got a real shit mic stand that like collapses on itself if you nudge it or breathe on it too hard.
I have a mic like that too.
So yeah, I get like priority targets would be the squishier targets, but it's not too bad to hit the Artanis, especially with the Qs. They can be pretty hard to land. On this stage, you're getting dived by the Chromie, which is a problem. Good skill shots against her, and she actually goes down, which is pretty lucky for you. I think like the bronze talons talent that's mentioned earlier does make it easier to fight against Chromie because it's a point and click thing. Great escape. Alright, I mean, yeah.
I think your mic might have like unplugged or something.
It might have what?
It might be like partly unplugged or something because it sounds a little different right now.
Oh, okay. It could have moved as well. That's oh shit.
Oh yeah, that's better. That sounded better.
Okay, I just have to make sure it doesn't fall over. I had it in such a good spot the other day, and then the green screen fell over and knocked it, and it stopped.
Oh
working.
yeah, I saw it happen on stream that time.
It was painful. All right, are we sounding good now?
Yeah, you sound fine. Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, like I think that fight went pretty well. I think like you could kind of see the gist of like the issue that happens because you burnt your heroic on the Tracer earlier.
Yeah, I was a little vulnerable. Yeah.
She recalled out. You became super vulnerable, and like, and the Tracer you know, not the best Tracer player in the world, so you managed to escape. So that was
Yeah.
it was pretty lucky, but you could see how that could translate into a really awkward situation in other games. And then
Definitely.
it worked out with a fairly lucky escape, but we'll take it. And yeah,
100% calculated.
100% calculated. Fair enough.
Bring my terror to
But yeah, like definitely you could see that like the mechanically, like the skill shots and stuff is very good in terms of the aim in general and the placement. So that will definitely like help you out a lot. And going forward into this game. Now again, like you got like 10 seconds on the cooldown of this, so we're probably looking for a kill, like in the very very near future. In fact, you could even be chasing that Thrall pretty aggressively. We know that his teammates aren't actually nearby. Oh, there's Tracer. Hello. So there's Lunara up to the north, and again, I'd say like you just temporal loop her and you kill her then as soon as she steps out of line. Like especially the squishy targets. Like warriors are not going to be ideal targets for temporal loop, but squishy ones would be, and that Malfurion also very far forwards. That's the thing, like with Chromie, the basic combo as well with that, in case you don't know, is like you hit them with Temporal Loop, then when it hits about halfway on the timer, you throw down your W and then you throw down a Q.
Yeah, I got that down. I'm
Oh yeah, nice. And then like with Bronze Talents, you can follow it up with the
I think
power
this is
basic attack.
one of my earlier ranked Chromie games, so I think I was still getting used to
Yeah.
just using her ulti for kills
Yeah,
outside
exactly.
of team fights.
That's good aim against the mouth right there. My pressure. Okay, so we gone for this here. That worked out pretty well. Again, it's like Artanis is not the ideal target because he's a fairly tanky one.
Noticed that after I used something, I was like, oh, he's probably not going to die to it.
Yeah. So again, that's something that will come with more experience. But like, especially earlier on, like I'm gonna actually pause it here because I want to finish this thought before this team fight goes further. But like earlier on, when we're kind of over pushing this fort, and like the Lunara kind of popped over here for a second, and the Malphus over here, like those very squishy targets when they're that far out, Temporal Loop, but basically is basically a kill. So you're definitely anytime like a squishy hero like walks out past their team, it's like hit them with Temporal Loop and they're gonna really suffer.
I was really surprised when I started playing her, just like the range on Temporal Loop was
it's quite substantial actually. It's quite substantial.
I was like, it's probably gonna be like just defensive, like really low range, but I'm like, holy shit, it's like,
careful.
Yeah. So again, right here, it's like that's kind of one of those awkward things where you're trying to hit the Tracer, but again, like Tracer, because she's so mobile, is really difficult to hit for Chromie. So you're probably actually in that situation better off, aside from like the stuns of your teammates, not going for the Tracer, unless like you know that your teammate's gonna lock her down, which again is it's a game knowledge thing. So, but yeah, like normally Tracer's gonna be really hard for you to hit, and you're probably better off zoning out the other heroes as opposed to actually going for her. But it worked out fairly okay. Again, good aim. You could see there as well, like the Varian did lock down the Lunara right there for a little bit, so that was something we could have done too. Is whoops.
yeah, I think I forgot that I had a trap there.
Yeah. But like you could certainly like definitely as well, like if you're playing with the heroes and you probably get a feel for your teammates like in every game and how good they actually are in terms of setting it up. But like if you know that again that someone with a setup is nearby, you might even hold off on just poking with the skill shots and just like keep the cooldowns ready for when they go in and then follow up on what they do. So that's something that you could look into. And then that was just the time traps also set you up for a combo as well. And they could also make your combo miss. Got people like talk so much. This is really
yeah,
nuts.
that's something I've noticed. Like, even in League, it's kind of the same where people are a lot more vocal, a lot more prone to like coming up with strategies during the game and stuff. But it usually doesn't even work out.
Yeah.
You might as well just focus on your own play.
Yeah. And this is pretty interesting. That's a good time trap placement to kind of cover that flank. I'd say at this point as well, I kind of go, all right, well, looking at our team here, pretty low on mana. I'd probably almost be keeping my mana at this stage just to have like something to defend if they do invade.
I think I didn't cast too much more on the...
Yeah, that's good. But it's definitely something to watch out for on a hero that doesn't add a lot to actually doing like siege damage. Like, you could potentially be doing your W's and it wouldn't actually be bad. But I'd say like at this stage with your mana being this low, and given that Diablo's also out of mana, and Li Ming's got loads, like you'd be like, all right, I'll let Li Ming do all the work, and I'm just gonna sit back and watch, and it'll be fine, just in case something goes horribly wrong. Now, it doesn't, but you know, definitely mana management is it's a wild thing that can happen in the game.
I'm still getting used to the
the
differences in mana regeneration from this game to League.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
And sometimes
again, that's like.
Yeah,
So,
I think so my thought process sometimes when I hit it is, it's a little bit like in League. Sometimes I'll pop like a health potion right before I'm about to go in, even if I'm on like a high HP. So I was thinking like I might be using a lot of mana soon, so I'll just pop that. I don't know if it like overflows, or if it's just gonna regen that much. So yeah, I think that's why I popped it, because I was like, I think I'm going to be using a lot of mana soon, so I'm just going to pop it now.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen, but again, like, you're going to almost definitely cap out on mana here. Like you just...
Yeah, I definitely...
But, so, yeah, it was a little bit early, and especially because these regen globes give you... I forget how much, because they changed it recently, but they give you a certain percentage of your mana back. So you have a certain amount of sustain from picking those up. And Chromie's not super mana intensive, whereas other heroes would be.
Yeah,
so,
I think, like I said, I was just like, I don't think I'm going to be near one of these right now, so I'm going to just use it while we're out pushing, so...
Yeah, that it's not terrible, but it was a little... in that case, it was unnecessary, but it's, again, it's not going to be a huge issue, because like you said, you are actually... Your team is going to be pushing quite hard for a while. So, yeah. Alright. And again, like, we're just kind of sticking with the team here, and you're doing pretty much everything there is to do at this point. You could definitely be considering, like, readjusting the placement of your time trap as your team has moved around. So maybe, like, setting it up on this flank or something like that. And the good thing, we have complete vision of the enemy team. Like, at the moment, we've got Thrall up here, and then we've got 4 heroes who've been chasing your Garden Terror, like, across half the map while all this is going on. So, like, we know where everyone is. You'd obviously be watching the minimap at this stage and going like, okay, actually kind of looks like they're coming towards us. So now you'd be wanting to stick with your team. That's fine. It might be a little greedy to try out that final skill shot, but it's not like the end of the world.
Yeah, probably.
And definitely at this stage, you'd be looking into setting up a time trap. Alright, we've got one down there. That's good. And focusing on the Lunara, that's good as well. I'm actually curious now. I want to pause right here in the middle of the team fight. Did any of them actually take any of the stuff that negates spell damage? Artanis did. He didn't. She didn't. He didn't. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? You're saying, like, double mage sucks. None of them actually took the anti-mage stuff, so it's actually okay. There you go. So it's actually okay. And that's actually important as well. Like, Malfurion now becomes a super viable kill target for you. And this would be... It's not going to be relevant because... A better Malfurion will always take Ice Block against a Chromie with Temporal Loop. It's just not going to happen. But like he has nothing to save himself. He could save any of his teammates with Cleanse from Temporal Loop. He can remove it from any of them. But he can't cleanse himself. So he has a level 13 talent, which makes him invulnerable for a couple of seconds. So we could dodge it with that. But he doesn't have it, so he becomes like a super easy kill target without that. So yeah, definitely you get to know, like, as you know, the heroes, like the talent tiers that you'd stop and look at. And work things out. Let's see what you got. Reaching through time, I do like that a lot. And this map is not a great map for Chromie because it is so big. So one of the defensive things might be also a good option. As well against Tracer. You can also get a thing that's like Ice Block at level 13 because it lasts like 7 seconds because it's Chromie. But that could be a really good way to stop a hero like Tracer who basically can dive you and there's nothing much that you can do about it. It's very difficult, so you can just use that to dodge the dive, and then it's like, okay, well, at least I can protect myself by going invulnerable for 7 seconds. So that's worth... Level 13 is often quite a big defensive talent here, and it's often worth considering at that point. Base distance is a hero. That talent wouldn't be considered very good. I've never actually seen that one before. Level 16. I think there's another one that actually, like, my favorite one there is an activatable ability. What's it called?
I've been running that one lately.
Yeah. That's really nice,
so
especially
I would just
with
like pop
this.
Temporal Loop and then pop that and then just blow some up.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been
like
noticing that one's a bit better.
Yeah, it's like one of the bigger combos here.
I was a bit wary about taking activatable abilities.
Yeah, I think that's a
because
good.
I was like, I want to make sure that I'm using them actually.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Don't
that's definitely a good idea. Like I mean, we've got one like both. I love that both supports take cleanse, and I always kind of think to myself, you know, until you get to probably about platinum, I don't know if there's usually much point in actually taking cleanse.
Yeah.
Like I haven't particularly noticed any particularly amazing cleanses this game, and maybe there's one or two I didn't quite spot because I was looking at your play more so. But it's like one of the things that, yeah, activatable abilities are by nature pretty difficult to use. So, you know, if you're in silver, there's a lot of things that you could be improving on and a lot of things to be thinking about. You don't necessarily want to be making the game harder for yourself by taking those, unless you're like comfortable on the hero. And this is good movements. I like that a lot, like moving away from, oops, getting drawn away. Just dodging away from the thrall. I feel like, alright, you can't kill me. Damn, GG guys. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty one-sided game. Like, they didn't destroy any of your structures. You know, you guys were ahead in XP. 20 kills to 8.
I was less so looking to flex with this game and more looking, because I thought I played pretty well, so I was wondering if I was just thinking that or if I actually did well. So I was curious.
Yeah, yeah, and you can see in the stats you got good hero damage as well. So yeah, I definitely think that overall you played well. I say the main things to watch out for me that I take away from that game was definitely like the awareness that there are like tactics and stuff that work in lower levels that don't work in higher levels. So the aggressive positioning, again, it's something that you'll learn naturally. Like as you climb, you just find you get positioned more and more, punished more and more for positioning, and then you'll just like learn to position better and better, or well, not better and better isn't actually the right word, because it's very good positioning in this case, being aggressive, but it's like you'll learn to position more safely to protect from that stuff. So that will happen kind of naturally as you go up, but it's definitely something that I'd note from this is that, yeah, in like a better level game, there'd be like a lot of times where you're going a bit too far forwards, and you would be like punished quite heavily for that, like particularly on Chromie, who is extremely predictable with her skill shots.
Definitely.
And then as well, like looking, and again, I'm very aware that like a lot of it is not like a criticism, but like just of the game knowledge thing, is just like just acknowledging that, you know, that's something that does improve. Learning what heroes will be able to counter something like Temporal Loop or like burst combos in general.
I definitely still need to learn all the heroes and what they do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that comes, and then it's like you could sort of reassess that then after you feel like you do have a good grasp of heroes, and then you might realize that, oh, well, okay, I was trying to use Temporal Loop a few times on this guy and he was negating it completely. That's not good. But yeah, I mean, that's something you learn more of. And then also as well, you also pick up on positioning that you could punish. So I think there was only really one case of that, like over near that fort earlier on when you're pushing in, and they were kind of all over the place, and they had squishy heroes kind of went in range of you, and you could just like Temporal Loop them and kill them. But apart from that, I thought like the mechanics are really good, the skill shots are really good. You weren't put under very much pressure from the enemy team, like just in your team versus theirs in general. So that definitely helps, and your team played fairly well and moved for the most part as a unit. So yeah, I would say the main things are, the mechanics seem good. And yeah, we can't say too much in terms of like taking merc camps or rotations, because Chromie is not overly involved in those. You're very much a hero that follows the team. But it seems pretty good, and it seems like you're on the right track. Definitely, as well, again, game knowledge things, like some of these talent choices, you're already improving on, and that's great. Or like Loophole also isn't considered to be that strong either, because because I think it's got a fairly short range. She's got one there that like her Qs will leave a clone that will shoot off more Qs. So that one is usually the go-to.
Okay.
But yeah, she's a pretty unusual hero actually, so bear that in mind.
I think I started liking that one because I had a match where I used that and it happened to hit like an entire team into a Jaina ult, and then they all just died immediately. And I was like, that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of counterplay to that.
Yeah. Also, there is like a level 7 talent which increases the damage of the W like right in the center.
Yeah.
And I don't think that synergizes actually with Loophole. I think there's like not enough space, so it only actually hits the person in the main Temporal Loop. So that's also probably part of why that level 20 isn't that popular. But overall, I think it was like a really good game. And I'd say, like, honestly, looking at it, In this one, I'd say there's no like major things that I'm kind of going, oh no, this is really bad. I just see like a game. I'm saying, all right, you got really good mechanics. You're obviously an experienced player from another MOBA, and it's just definitely more a case of you just need to play more games, get a better grasp of what heroes are capable of, and take it from there. At the moment, yeah, like at this level of play, it looks really, really good, just from this game alone.
Yeah, I want to get some. I guess we can talk about this after the recording.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like what we could do, like with the series, is like come back like in a couple of weeks, or maybe like with a game where it was a very difficult game or a much closer game.
Yeah.
That's often like one of the best ways is like when it's a really close game. So it's not just like, well, you're playing really well because your team is playing really well, but like and the enemy team isn't doing that great. But like where it's a really even game, that's like where things actually come in, where it's like, okay, your play becomes super important then.
Yeah,
you come
where
back
min-maxing is actually a lot more important.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm gonna try and get a game like that for next time. I also want, because in League, during coaching, there's times where it's like, oh man, how do I explain this? It's like during like the coaching for League, it's there's a lot of like really small things that can impact the game in a huge way. Mm-hmm. Like you can do one thing and then it'll just ripple throughout the entire game. So if you like say you take boots on a certain back so you get extra move speed, and then through that you're able to get to bottom lane just in time to get a double kill, and then that double kill gets you just enough gold to purchase this, which helps you get another kill just in time. And then it's just like it snowballs through that, and like that item and that next kill that you get can help you get another tower, an extra tower, even more gold. And it's just like the smallest thing can snowball into the biggest advantage. And like if you didn't get boots and you got a different item instead, like that one just tiny mistake can lose you an entire game. Like it can be huge. So it's like, but that's mostly like at the top level. But yeah. So it's like a lot of the time I find myself being like, even at the smallest thing, it's like, wow, that was really bad. So I want to see if like I'm doing stuff like that where it's like there's like a small thing that I did wrong that actually like rippled throughout the entire game. Like, I want to make sure I don't make those kind of mistakes.
I say it's I don't know. It wouldn't often be that punishing. It could on certain maps potentially, yes, but oftentimes. I don't know, actually. Yeah, it depends. I could be. We'll see how that goes going forwards. But I point out, like, in terms of, like, the ripple effect, that's specifically to Chromie, because she gets her things earlier. You could be looking to create that sort of ripple effect, and that's sort of unique to the particular hero, which is that with that level 8 power spike that no one else has, you can, like, you could get a kill, and then if you get your team an XP lead, hitting level 10 first is, like, the biggest power spike in the entire game, and that can like secure you an objective pretty much for free, and then you could push in, and you can snowball the game very much from that. So definitely on Chromie in particular, I'd be saying, okay, level 8 is my power spike. I want to get a kill with my heroic, like pretty much as soon as possible. Maybe you can get 2 kills in before everyone else gets their heroics potentially. If as well.
I guess that was something that I felt like Chromie was a really mechanical champion or a hero.
Yeah, she is.
And then I guess her role, now I'm realizing that her role in team play in the general sense is, since you're getting your heroic so much earlier, is it's basically your job to snowball the rest of your team and get them to level 10 before the enemy team.
Yeah, definitely.
You power spike sooner.
Yeah, that's definitely a good part of it. And then she also can delay certain objectives really well with the range. And then she's also used at pro level a little bit. Again, she's only just come onto the pro scene, and this is the sort of stuff she's being used for. There's also one healer in the game that's very popular with certain heroes. Basically, it's Oriel. In fact, we can exit out this.
Oh yeah, I heard that she was a good counter to Oriel.
Yeah, she's emerged as a good counter because Oriel basically she can only heal by generating energy, and she generates energy from. She basically selects an allied hero, and when they do damage, some of that translates into energy for her.
Yeah.
But because Chromie's got super long range, Oriel can't land anything, or her allies can't do damage back, so the poke just sticks. Which can be really problematic. So she's been picked up as well as a bit of a counter to to Oriel as well. But yeah, there
That
you
was
go.
one of the rare times that I tuned into the HCC.
Yeah.
Saw
It was a pretty big moment. Everyone's like, "What? They're picking Chromie? You kidding me? No one plays Chromie at the moment."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, there you go. Anyway, I hope you found it helpful and it's pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, I think it'd definitely be the sort of thing where you come back like after a bit more time, or then with a closer game, a game where it's not as dominant, and then like start picking up the mistakes, or like the areas where there's still room for improvement to focus on, or where the mistakes do start showing through a bit more. But so far it looks like I think that was like a really good game for like the level of play. It was like really good. I wouldn't have any major criticism at all. There you go.
Nice, thank you.
No problem.